Okay, everyone, who knows how long I'll actually have internet driving out here on the wild roads. Couple things very concerning. Well, first of all, I watched a couple of videos today that I think are disturbing about, if you didn't get it in the last thing, because I lost my internet, I don't know if everybody heard, but China is making the vaccines and the PCRs and all of that, and they're making it in the United States of America. What's happened with China getting a whole bunch of stuff from Canada, from the United States? What's happened with everything we know? Why are we all being this crazy? You know, that is very, very alarming to me. So there's a new article. Who now says that gender, the WHO, okay, now says that gender exists on a continuum and is beyond non-binary. There's a lady that's pushing back against this. So they're going to update their current organizational description of what gender means. They have a manual on this, and they're going to say that gender is beyond non-binary and that sex is not limited to male and female. Okay, there's a woman here. Now, she's very brave. Her name is Jenny Gamble, a professor. Oh, somebody who's smart. A professor, not just some kid who's confused with purple hair. An actual professor who understands biology, science. And we clearly know that the WHO doesn't understand any of that after what they've done this last couple of years with what we've all been through. Complete blazing idiots, and we know that. So this Jenny Gamble, a professor in the School of Nursing, Midwifery and Health at Coventry University in the UK, criticized the WHO's gender rebrand as being unscientific and medically problematic. Oh yeah. It is a dismissal of basic biology and a mistake, she said. Biology is a key determinant of health and illness. Not being clear about basic biology opens the door to a range of problems, including very poor health communication, but also distorted data. Yeah, you know, when you start telling people that you can be a woman when you have private parts that are male, is problematic when operations start happening and all kinds of strange things are done to your body, and then you can't take it back, and then you want to detransition, and then everybody hates you in your community that told you that you should do that. That's always interesting. So then she said, the wording regarding there being more than male and female sexes is concerning. Dr. Gribble told the Daily Mail. The website says that the handbook is being updated in light of new scientific evidence. Oh, there's new scientific evidence. Yeah. And conceptual progress. That's really what it is, isn't it? It's not new scientific evidence. It's your conceptual. How I conceive I want to live. I'm not very happy, so I want to be a male now. I've spent a few years as female, and if I'm 14 and not too happy, kind of depressed, life's not turning out, the guy I really like doesn't even like me. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just change my gender. I mean, everybody else is doing it and they're all being celebrated. Maybe I'll do that. And so you have a conceptual change. Well, it's all very problematic, isn't it? So the handbook is being updated, and conceptual progress on gender, health, and development. Rather, the idea that there are more than two sexes is a postmodern, unscientific understanding that should not be supported by the WHO. So instead of supporting science, is it any wonder to us at all that the WHO is now going to support new conceptual scientific ideas, by teenagers who are unhappy? So that's very, very interesting. The other thing I wanted to say about this is, it still remains very sad that most people are being lied to in the LGBTQ community because they're not getting the real truth that the majority of people in the world are very tolerant, kind, and don't say a word, but they have absolutely no agreement with you. And the reason I know that is I hear from them because we have honest discussions, and you are not capable of having an honest discussion because you get very upset when people just do not accept the way that you see things, and your unscientific perspective is not accepted, but nobody wants to hurt your feelings. I remember seeing a comment that was on Twitter once, and an LGBTQ person paid me a very high compliment, and they said, they're upset about a whole bunch of stuff, but they said, at least with Laura-Lynn, you know where she stands. Here's the problem. You don't know where anybody stands in the world because you don't want to hear it, and nobody wants to hurt your feelings. Nobody wants to be called a bully. Nobody wants to be called a transphobe or a homophobe or any of the other nasty names you all call people, including racist, which never fits and makes it look stupid that you're not very aware of what being a racist really means, that it has to do with the color of your skin and not to do with your perceived unscientific way that you think about your sexuality. So the thing is, if we could have more honest talks, you'd actually maybe have some clarity on what's going on. Because as it stands in Canada, nobody's really allowed to tell you that your idea is unscientific and wrong. Because if they do tell you that, even a psychiatrist or a psychologist, if they tell you that your idea about your gender and sexuality is wrong, they might lose their license, because now the government, along with the WHO, along with the UN, along with the WEF, along with Soros, who's funding the whole transgender movement, doesn't want you to know the truth. And so no one will tell you. Nobody wants to lose their job. What they'll do is they'll be polite, and they will allow you to explore your unscientific ideology. And do you know what happens with that? You end up very hurt and very unwell. And then you know who will reject you is all the people that encouraged you to go down this path. And so the WHO today, putting out this nonsense and changing and updating their manual to unscientific ridiculousness, is not helpful to anyone, and in fact is very hurtful. It's going to be the most hurtful to those of you who are being lied to by all of society. They can't tell you the truth. They don't want to get sued. They don't want to be bullied by the anti-bullying crowd. Nobody's telling you. I'll tell you. You might not be listening, or you might listen. Maybe. I'm the one telling you the truth. I take the hits, and I don't have approval addiction, and I think it's wrong to pretend that it's okay what you're going through, because it will hurt you. So the people that are now detransitioning in the world, growing by leaps and bounds, we have doctors that have been helping people to transition for long periods of time, decades. And these doctors are now saying something's wrong because there's too many people doing this. And the reason that there's so many people doing this is because it's become a fad and it's become popular, rather than looking at the science and saying something else is going on here. Any depression, any unhappiness, even people in the LGBTQ, some of them actually agree with me, because just telling kids that you can actually do something as unscientific as changing your gender and getting gender affirming operations is actually dangerous. People don't want to tell you that. Look around. If you want to know the truth, if you're one of these people listening to me right now, start soliciting the truth, and don't get mad at anybody when they tell you the truth. Just ask for the truth. Do you think that this is really a thing? it's going to be so hard for anyone to tell you. They don't want to hurt your feelings, and they don't want to be bullied just in case you lose it over their opinion. Most of Canada does not agree with this. People that even fight for you to have this, they don't agree with it. They think it's kind of strange, and they're not down with it, but they don't want to hurt your feelings, and that's why they're silent on it. So if you want the truth, you actually have to be brave enough to begin listening to it. A lot of people who don't have any interest in supporting a lie in society will tell the truth. Those are the people you need to listen to. They're trying to tell you something that will maybe save your life, because the highest category that you can end up in is that high suicidality category of somebody who is gender confused and going through all of these things, being rejected by their own, finding out that cutting off your breasts never actually made you happy. You get to that place, and then where are you? You've lost an awful lot, and your people will not tell you. And here's the thing, WHO now contributing to even more of this nonsense, because the WHO and the UN and the WEF and all of these world elites, does Soros look like a transgender to you, or that he's in any way linked to the LGBTQ or whatever? No, what they like to do is fund chaos. You're part of a psyop, and they are funding chaos. This is not spoken to you so that you will have hurt feelings. Actually, on the contrary, so that your life will be saved, so that you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So some other very, very strange things also going on today is in Canada. I don't think we're safe here in Canada medically. So if you do not want to be tyrannized, you're going to have to get a jab if you have the need for a life-saving operation. So there's a story out now. There's a lady, and I believe that we had her on our show. So she needs a lung replacement. She's not going to be given the opportunity for this lung replacement unless she gets the jab. She had to get all of her childhood vaccines. I think had to re-get them, or make sure she's in tip-top shape. That's probably bad enough for you. But now she's been told she's down to the wire. Her number's up. They're ready to give her the lung transplant. All you have to do is take a jab. And she says, I don't want that jab. I don't need it. She may never get COVID. She may have already had COVID, and she has good immunity. Who knows? She might be just perfectly fine. But this lady, if she does not take the jab, she doesn't get a life-saving operation. So what does that say to you? Do you feel safe in Canada? Do you all feel like we have a government and a medical system? What if it's you that needs that operation? What do you think about that? What if it's your child that needs a life-saving operation at Children's Hospital? Are we going to get to the place where they will demand that your child must get the vaccination? What if it's your spouse? You want your spouse to live, but they need a heart transplant, a liver transplant. What if all of that happens? Then, what does all of this mean to your family? Do you feel safe in Canada? Do you feel safe? I don't feel safe. So one of the things I've told you guys today, that I'm down in, are we in Wisconsin?
Just past Madison.
I'm with my favorite husband of all time.
Chicago.
And we're going through Chicago. On our way to Chicago tonight. We're going to be driving a long time tonight. So I'm on my way to speak with Art Pawlowski's wife. Art Pawlowski remains a prisoner in his own home. He's under house arrest and he can't leave to go anywhere. So his wife and his son, the awesome Nathaniel, are down in the United States of America. And here's his post, if you want to go to Art Pawlowski's post and see what he's saying today. But he says, I am still on house arrest, but my wife and my son are not, to expose the corruption of the Canadian government and their abuse of power. They went to the United States of America to share our story. If you would like to support that initiative, and he has the place to go and support that right on his page. So I'm joining Marjana and Nathaniel tomorrow night to speak out. Here's what I think. I think we're in an abusive relationship with our country. I think that Trudeau is the most tyrannical and most evil prime minister that we've ever had. And I don't think that we've always had good ones, but this guy takes the cake. We're not safe medically. People are still getting fired all the time. So in my time down here with Cindy Chafian and Marjana, I can't wait to help them tell the story of what they've done to Art Pawlowski. I can't wait to tell the story of what is going on in Canada, the tyranny. You're not allowed out of Canada. You're like rats in the country if you are not vaccinated. So I believe Marjana had to get special letters in order to leave. We're in trouble. And so we're going to be down here telling everybody that we can exactly what is going on. So I'd appreciate if you would pray. Would you do that? Would you pray and support this effort as we go to different places to speak, to talk to politicians, and to see if we can gain assistance for Canadians under fire? Because what we're looking at is a descent into communism, tyranny, socialism. Our government does not care about us. If they're going to allow a woman to die after she's done everything she had to do, she will not be getting that lung transplant unless she gets the jab. We all know what's been going on with that. Can they force you to do that? Do you want to be in that position? I think it's horrendous. It's abusive. It's an abusive power, and that's where we're at. Well, we're done with it. It's time to stand up. We've got to speak. So because I have dual citizenship, my husband has dual citizenship, we never thought this was important until all of a sudden we have free access to the United States and free access to get back to Canada. We are citizens of both countries. So I'm down here to rat that country out and to rat out what Prime Minister Trudeau is doing to the people, what the medical establishment is doing. There are more people losing their jobs, more people that are being harmed than being taken care of. And it's all coming down, isn't it? And now they want to vaccinate the kids. How long till your kid doesn't get into kindergarten before they have the vax? We got to fight now, and we got to fight the hardest we've ever fought in our whole lives. I love you guys. Please pray for us. Please pray for safety on the roads, and also that we would meet the right people at exactly the right place and time so that we'll be able to get help for Canadians. It's a very grave hour. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.